The New York Mets have lost their 5th straight game tonight to the Atlanta Braves. Now, Max Scherzer got the ball. His previous 4 ERA barely over 1. People are going to look at the box score, Mike, and go, oh, no, what happened to Max Scherzer? Are you worried about tonight's start?
I am not worried about Max Scherzer because, first of all, Greg, every team has a #1 starter. Not many teams have aces. Max Scherzer's an ace. Like you said, his last 4 starts in the area of 108. Let's take a look at what he did today through his first 4 innings, especially against some real good right-handed hitters. He started off the game striking out. Who did he strike out?
He struck out everybody. He had 9 strikeouts.
Acuna. He had 9 punch-outs, drew 4, correct. 4-1 lead. He had everything electric. You saw a changeup, you saw a slider. He had a good fastball. His velo was good. It was like 94, 96. Matt Olson with the, kind of not the hard slider, maybe a little more slurvy. So he had everything working. So what happens? Some guys need to make adjustments. It does seem like in about the 5th inning, Braves started making some adjustments. They got to him in the 6th. But either way, this is an elite pitcher. And since we have an elite hitter who faced Max Scherzer for so many years, Albert, I'd love to know what would be your approach against a guy like Max Scherzer?
I mean, yeah.
Pretty much, you're in for a battle, right?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I think for me, my time when I facing, I was always aggressive. I didn't want to take first pitch down the middle. I want to be aggressive and just be ready to hit. I mean, a guy like this, he probably going to give you 1 or 2, maybe pitch at night. That's too much to us, but always aggressive, just stick with my approach, right center, and as right there, I hit a double. I think this was last year. And I think I like 3 for 16 or something like that against him. But he's tough. He's a tough at bat, a guy that keeps, moving the ball in and out. And when he got that slider going, man, he's tough. He can be tough.
Is it a combination of velocity and location? Is that what makes him different?
And I think, he hides the ball really well.
Okay.
I mean, it's just really tough, to see the ball out of his hand, and I think for Max, obviously, 5 innings, he would have loved to stay there longer and give the Mets, the win. But I think he's going to be okay. I think the guy's going to be okay. I mean, you said it. You get good pitching, but he's an ace. He's an ace that if I'm building a thing, I would want to have it, every 5th day in the mound.
So you guys played together in Los Angeles. Is there something you learned about him when you were teammates that maybe you didn't know before?
Not much, but just like every pitcher, you have your routine, and he was one of the guys that we knew that when he
very
was
different.
Going, very different. Just leaving alone, he does his thing, But great teammate. I think it was a great addition, for the Dodgers, and he did everything he could, to help us out to win that year.
Albert, you mentioned right center approach. So when we split the plate like this, is that something you took basically your whole career? Was that something that you focused on? I've heard Aaron Judge say a lot that he wants to hit a line drive through the throat of the second baseman, and that's a very specific thing. Was there something in your approach that you honed in on?
Yeah, that's it, the right center, because one thing is to cover that ball middle away. Another thing is hitting with authority to the other side. As you know, as a right-handed hitter, that for me is a tough pitch to cover. The inside pitch, that's really easy. That ball is middle in, all you have to do is just stay square and stay inside the baseball. But that ball middle away, that's a tough pitch to drive it the other way. And when you can do that, then you show that guy on the mound like, hey, you're in trouble tonight, because I'm able to cover all those pitch.
So when you show a guy that you can handle this, he's going to have to try to make an adjustment, right? Pitchers are they're creatures of habit until you show that you could do something. So then if you can demonstrate you can handle this, then maybe he's trying to come in here, and that's more your wheelhouse, right? Because you can take that same approach and keep the ball fair and do damage, correct?
Same approach. For me, nothing changed. I always think if it was middle away, just throw that nap of the bat to the baseball and then cover. Middle away, same thing, and then cover the play inside. I just stay square. A lot of young players right now think that if they open up, that's the only way to get to that baseball.
Right.
I don't want to open up my stand. If I open up my stand, I'm going to hit that ball foul. I don't want that. So I try to make sure that I keep my shoulder square to the baseball and then trust my hand, nap of the baseball and then straight through the baseball, and that's I did it worked. I did it for 22 years. So
he hit pitches. You would hit pitches that were like up here. You hit crazy stuff.
Yeah.
You got inside pitches that were like almost touching you.
Well, Mike can tell you, back in those days when we used to work out at FIU, I mean, those were the things, just letting the ball get deep. I knew in the game, that you're going to catch that ball in front. But why work that ball in practice up front, because it's going to make it to roll over. So for me, always, if I can let the ball get as deep as I can in practice, I know in the game I was going to be okay. So when that happened and I was probably late, like probably you think, oh, he's a little late. No, I was ready. Why? Because my mind already trained to hit that baseball back here.
Greg, there's certain at-bats you remember about certain guys during your career, and this is one with Albert. A.J. Burnett was on the mound, and A.J. Burnett was 97, 98, when most guys who threw hard were 94-ish. Albert was up with a runner on second, no outs, and I was like, well, I want to see if this guy's really going to try to go the other way, move the runner over. And the pitch, and I went to look at the video later, and Albert, he threw you kind of the two-seamer that starts here, and it came in. But with that approach, he stayed inside, and he hit an absolute rocket over the second baseman's head.
He hit it the other way.
Yes. So what I'd love to ask you, Albert, is do you think the approach of letting the ball travel and look the other way almost lets you get beat sometimes by a click on the ball that's in or third, but since your path is so good, you can still do some damage, right?
Yeah, because the path doesn't change at all, You just stay inside the baseball, and follow through. And like I say early, those were swings that I used to work in the cage a lot, in the tee. One guy that I learned a lot was Fernando Villa in 2001. I used to see him putting that tee way in the back of his stem, and I asked him, why you do that? Because I feel like I'm jumping a little bit at the baseball. Well, if you put that tee in the back of your leg, and you jump on it, what are you going to do? Roll over. You have to stay back and really work through that baseball, which is a tough drill for your back and everything. I used to start with that tee on the outside, move it to the middle, and then way inside. And my goal was I want to hit that baseball right here on the inside of the plate to right field, to center field, and to left field without changing my stand. You know what I mean?
That's great.
And that was something that I did it, and it worked, like I say, so
I can hear your kids writing notes right now in their living room right now, out west, because the kids out east is probably be in bed right now.